So, yeah, the last couple of days, feeling the heat. Just, it's not even like a bad thing. It's just, it's the sweating stuff. And it's the rise and fall of the fluctuations of the heat. The just, you feel like the prickly feeling all over the body. But it's not a bad, not like a prominent prickly feeling, but you just feel the flush. And it starts small and it gets bigger and bigger. Then you also wake up sometimes with a sweaty face. So it's very interesting watching this virus work through me. And I'm never going to be immune as far as the antagonist antibody side to a virus because the virus serves to upgrade. And so that's probably going to be the hardest thing to impart upon those who are at the other end of the scale, at the other end, trying to figure out how to get and gain some kind of peace in their life, some understanding in their life, and know what's going on when they feel something or when they kids feel something. And so what's sad to me is that it is very difficult to bring somebody from the holistic world. The allopathic world, not too difficult because they're already looking to make a change and they haven't been caught up in the holistic world. And it maybe it might be a little bit different. Maybe they do get caught up in the holistic world and then they're stuck in it. But that's the thing. If I can get somebody before they go into the holistic world, before they get caught up in the pills, powder, supplements, detoxes, elderberry syrup, all the different remedies that are offered, if I can get them before they get into that mode, they might have a chance. What the issue is, when I'm trying to impart information that's taking you from 0 to 60 and you're still very stuck, like you got out of the medical world and now you're in the holistic world. Now you're so at a deficit and so are your kids that you just can't possibly now have to face the pain. But it's like maybe you had a chance. I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to be negative Nancy here, but I know what I'm dealing with. I know the crowds that I'm dealing with. I know when someone has children and their children are their life. Okay, they love their children. They love their husband. They think they're doing right by them by getting them away from the medical system and then turning to the holistic system by giving them massive amounts of elderberry syrup, turmeric and honey. I mean, I don't know, you name it. There is something, it won't matter what it is. Anything that you're trying to squelch energy and you're afraid of food, you're not going to change anything when it comes to what's in your blood. You're not going to be able to flush it out because the person who is at a deficit, who is sick all the time or is never sick, the body, when you're sick all the time, the body's dying to evolve and you're not letting it because the amount of remedies you are applying to the body. So you're trying to keep that kid or that adult in a cured state. There's no freaking way you're going to be able to do anything different. If anything, the body's going to get even more sick because you're still depleting it. Even though you might feed them food, you're still depleting them from the necessary nutrients because the amount of remedies you're applying to the child's body and your intention to mitigate pain. When someone never gets sick, it means they have such a strong lopsided immune system. It means that they have so many antagonist antibodies in their body that's attacking them at the micro level. And so they will not feel new viral energy or even code the food correctly. See, when you never feel anything, okay, it means that you have such a strong lopsided immune system. And a strong lopsided immune system will work against you as well. It's no different than you taking something in like turmeric and honey and elderberry syrup to stop the heat, stop the mucus, stop all the things that you're afraid of, but you're doing it manually versus having it autoimmune. See, that's the difference between someone that is always sick and someone that never gets sick. Now, am I always sick? No, I just feel the heat. And what is sickness anyways to people? It's all relative. I blow my nose. I poop when I need to. When I'm tired, I go to sleep. And I'll feel the flush of heat every so often when there's a new viral transducer. Sometimes I smell onions. And that's the extent of it of where I'm at today. I've already gone through all the different bouts of the cell regeneration and catching up to the level of my environment the last 4 years. I first had to actually start eating food and gain some weight. And if you are a mother or a person or a husband or, a wife or whatever, and you're afraid to gain weight or you're afraid to lose weight if you're way obese, I don't know how you're going to figure out how to get to a specific equilibrium and then evolve when new viral variants come in. And then what happens is when new viral variants come in, relative to your evolutionary stage, a child is going to be sick continuously in this environment. You know why? Because they're going to be evolving. That's the thing about kids in this society that are in a dynamic society that want to be out there. Unless, right, you get them vectored, and unless you want to just squelch their evolution, their intellect, and put them in kind of like in a cured, stilted, frozen state that still is going to try to grow up and maybe become 5, 6, 7 foot tall, who knows, whatever's in their genetic line. But even though they're still growing, they're not evolving when you think about it. You can grow something, but they won't evolve. Growing anything in this society is not hard. It needs water, it needs food, it needs sunshine. Okay. But an evolutionary, advanced, technologically, intellectually capable person who is able to have, can see all sides of an issue and can solve complex issues, they're very few and far between. They're not very common. You know why? Because people are afraid of pain. They're afraid of mucus. They're afraid of not living up to the standards of their friends and family. And so they'll find every way to stay in a cured state so they won't evolve. And then they'll only bring in whatever information that is given within the school system. And also what they have. If they have predispositions and they don't come by certain things that you want them to come by naturally, it's going to be that much more harder for them to take on the new information. So let's say in your background, you're very good at sports, but you're not very good with math and English. But you're very good at sports. And in this environment, when the body is dying to evolve and evolve to the level of the viruses and the people, and you already have that predisposition where, yeah, you can go and work out and have great muscles and maybe beat somebody at a race, maybe, I don't know. But it's all relative. What does great at sports mean, right? But you're then trying to go to school and trying to get a degree, and you're dealing with this evolution that's giving you cloudiness because you have to heal. You have to stay at home sometimes, maybe for a week, maybe for a day, who knows? You have to be able to allow the body to use the food supply to regenerate. You're not going to take on and have the capacity to take on advanced English and math and science skills when your body is fighting with itself, because you're fighting to get it out there to be, just like the Joneses next door, keeping up with the Joneses. And so kids in our society are relegated to whatever's left the parents have imparted to them genetically. And maybe they might have the luxury to take on new information, maybe. But in this dynamic environment, when everybody's giving their kids all these different remedies, maybe they're anti-vector, but even the kids that take the vectors are still going to work at a deficit because the body's still going to work against them. They're still going to hang out with a bunch of people. They're still not going to change their lifestyle. They want to have their birthday parties and all their sleepovers and all the things that are normal before the COVID, right? But I'm sorry, things aren't normal anymore. Things are so not normal that you have to change. It's like now the system wants them to be more autonomous. You think you can go hang out with a bunch of people and not have it work against you nowadays? Oh, hell no. Me just going out there with a double mask, I still feel the heat. Doesn't mean that I'm not sick or anything, but I feel the heat of the viral transducers. And I feed my body all the food in the food supply. I don't discriminate against meat, milk, cheese, eggs, GMO, processed foods, and I don't take anything like turmeric and honey and elderberry syrup. If I had kids, I would not destroy them, with herbs, with all these different things to stop their evolution, to stop their mucus. See, that's how parents ruin their kids, is when they try to stop them from evolving, but they still want them to grow, but not evolve. And so then they become an intolerant child that has a very hard time taking in new information when they're in their 20s and their 30s and their 40s. And so if you're already doing that to your child by stilting their evolution, how are you going to take in my information if you already have that thought process? See, that's the thing. The J juice is not for everybody, because not everybody can get out of their own way. They're so stuck. And I understand it, because you're trying to apply an old world way of doing things in a new world that is not going to accept the way you're doing things today. And they'll accept it, but it will be at a very large price. And so, yeah, kids right now are very skinny. I mean, parents are taking them to the doctor and getting tonsils taken out. Parents are taking them to the doctor, getting all these things taken out. Parents are put the kids on nutritional diets, or they're taking away foods because they think the foods are like poison or something. Parents are applying their kids with elderberry syrup during this flu season. Flu season is evolution season. And guess how people react to flu season? They squelch it with a vector. They squelch it with turmeric, honey, elderberry syrup. They squelch it with all these things. And here's the thing. Blood types are all about how much viral programming is in your body. Conflicting viral programming. Type O says you don't have as much conflicting programming, but you still do. You still got to deal with shit. You still got to align the body, mind, and spirit. Type A, B, and everything else that's out there is so many different viruses that are programming the body to produce proteins called antigen, and it sends messages to all the different systems, conflicting messages that don't really align, and then you have a body at war with itself trying to survive, using up energy that you don't have, and then the person's always sick. And when a person's never sick, they're not evolving, and they have a very lopsided, strong immune system. What is lopsided? Because you have two sides to your immune system. The antagonist antibodies that do a search and destroy, and the agonist antibodies that can be linked to cancer. They produce rapid growth if it's not balanced by the antagonist antibodies. And then the system goes and then produces monoclonal antibodies to do a programming of potentially, yes, innovation, where they can create some agonist antibodies, which may have also helped us in the beginning. Not as many antagonist antibodies, which why people are very, they're so confused about the vectors. Why in the beginning they were saving lives, and why now people are like thinking that they're passing away? Well, not only are bodies at a deficit, but people are also using the food supply to weaponize against their immune system. So there's so many different factors to why people's lifespan are very short nowadays, and why their kids aren't evolving, why parents aren't evolving, why there's always a fight out there. And so the only way that you're going to be able to align your viral programming, your operating system, so you don't have so many glitches, is first you have to understand you have to eat all the food in the food supply. You can't be plying your kids with turmeric and honey and elderberry syrup. The kid has to figure how to mucus. They have to learn how to cough out the mucus. They got to learn their own first and second lines of defense. And you can't give them so much J juice either, because you'll take the substance off of them. Okay? And so, you could do a tiny bit of J juice, but really what the issue is with children is they're not eating enough, and the parents are giving them so much of the negative foods, the antibiotic foods, like all the spices and the ginger and the turmeric and the honey and the apple cider vinegar and the kombucha, as well as the elderberry syrup. And so the kid doesn't stand a chance to keep whatever intellect that they could bring on by eating all the food in the food supply. And some kids are very finicky. They won't eat the food. So they're not going to get the intelligence that you're looking for them. Or they get all the food and they take up all the resources, but there's so much chaotic viral energy in their body that there's no organization, no infrastructure. And so they'll be at war with themselves. They'll be smart one way and they'll be totally emotional another way. And they'll be like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because there's so many viral personalities that they're holding within. See that? So there's got to be a balance. But first, parents have to understand that their kids are going to be sick. I was sick a lot as a kid because I was such at a deficit. My sister was hardly ever sick. When we got the chicken pox, she had one chicken pox on her belly. That was it. And that's because she had an overactive immune system. And then later on down the road, she triggered an autoimmune disorder. And so there are indicators as a child what's going to happen to the parent in the future. When a kid's always sick when they're a child, it means that they're evolving. They can handle the evolution. But parents will destroy their kid by stopping the evolution, My parents tried to. I mean, it's like the only thing that they were giving me when I was evolving was the Dimetap or the, I don't know, Triaminic, Claritin, allergy medication, and even that didn't work very well because I still would try to evolve. You know, I would still get the flus, and I'd be very, very sick, and I'd get over it very quickly, but I'd be very, very sick, and then I'd be up and around. And then, of course, as I got older in puberty and then also my young adulthood, then I was evolving from the PMS, the PMDD. So I was just suffering throughout my whole life because I was such at a deficit and I didn't know how to feed my body. So I kept trying to squelch the evolution, kept trying to take birth control pills that was prescribed to me, kept trying to take, I was doing the progesterone cream thing and that was going to help, but that wasn't. That was just messing with my hormones even more. I mean, I was doing everything under the sun and also in the holistic world, taking all their supplements and all their turmeric and their honey and their elderberry syrup and all the different, things that they were prescribing women for PMS or menopause or and I was destroying myself even further. Then when I realized that I had to eat all the food in the food supply and do a few resets, then I started getting better and I added more intelligence. But bringing someone who just came onto my Facebook from 0 to 60, I'm going to say that you're going to have to change not only your lifestyle, hold on, sugar, I'm coming, but also your belief system. And if you're already at a deficit, you're going to have a hard time. And it's not going to be easy, especially if you have children. Because your children are your number one priority and you don't want to see them suffer. You want them to rise with the other kids in the world. And you don't realize that the other kids in the world all have different levels of deficits and programmed immune systems that's not allowing them to evolve. But they're able to sit still. They're able to go to school without being sick because they're in a cured state and they're being programmed by the system. See, if you take cues from me, and you're sick all the time, and you're a problem child, you will evolve as an adult if you can survive. Come on, sugar. But if you're trying to get your kid in a cured state, you'll just stop their evolution very quickly. Go ahead, sugar. Go potty. Go ahead. So, yeah, I mean, I've been sleeping a lot this weekend because the viral transfusion. That's the only thing I've been dealing with is just the fatigue, and that's it. And the sweating. Oh my God. But it's been kind of a crazy. Go ahead, sugar. Go potty. But I mean, I don't know what to tell a parent that is starting this. You give the kid a few resets with the J juice and they have to eat all the food in the food supply and the kid's going to feel sick. And you know what? How can I tell a parent your kid has to feel sick and you have to keep feeding them all the food in the food supply? And if the kid's a fighter, if you don't have control over your kid and they dictate what they want to eat and what they want to do and you have no control, there's no freaking way. You already have to have that stage set before you embark on this J juice because it will be a fight. You're not only you fighting yourself because you're like, oh, so concerned about being sick, but you're going to fight your kid too. You're going to fight the family members. You're going to fight your community. And it's a fight all around. Not everybody has the strength to be able to withstand the fight. And the fight is really freaking insane. And it will take a lot out of you. Because I know a lot of kids' personalities out there. Some are fighters. Some will eat everything. And if you already condition them to think that meat is bad and milk is bad and processed food is bad, and you already have them already at a deficit like that, how are you going to now untrain them from that? How are you going to say, well, I was wrong. Now this is the way it's supposed to be. So I don't know. Right now, that's the first thing that you're going to have to figure out. Go, sugar, go potty. Go potty. Unless you peed in the bed. Okay, so there's no way to change, there's no way to people to change the types of their blood unless they're willing to do a few resets and then feed the body everything in the food supply and to feel the evolution. Okay, because blood types are telling you that you are either over glitching from too much conflicting blood type, too much conflicting viruses, or you have a predominant viral programming that is very strong, but you still have to correct other issues. And if you never get sick, you have a lopsided immune system. If you're always sick, it means you're at a major deficit and you don't know how to respond to evolution. And that's really what it is. So, All right, I'm going to go and do my thing, but I hope this helps. And the first thing is you have to understand sickness. And not everybody does. It's all evolution. Just got to feed it everything. All right, bye.